Testing, testing, testing. Testing. Can you guys hear me now? Are we back? Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Welcome to Mindshock, finally. No idea what YouTube is smoking. This is, of course, the Mindshock Live Q&A 23. I am your host, Bruce McGuire, and we are here to discuss anything and everything in typical Mindshock fashion with logic and reason at the forefront, unlike anything out there in the mainstream or anywhere else, really. If you want to help support the podcast, have logic and reason return to a world where it's quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case topic logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind. Leave them in the comment section. Unless, of course, you are with us here live, then drop them in the live chat. I'll try to get to each and every one of them. If you're not getting updates, there's also a free tier on Patreon you can subscribe to, and you should be getting the updates for any live streams or premieres through there. You could also help support the podcast by becoming a YouTube member right here on YouTube for some YouTube members only streams coming up. Alright, now that we got the technical difficulties out of the way, let's dive right in here. We got a lot of the usual suspects in here. Les Xylophone, Haley, Pitless22, Hold the Line, South to West Court of Public Opinion, Ethan W. And then we also got Grant in here. And Vlad B. Boggin. Flat Earth NZ. Truth Trollette. And Sarah BB. Welcome one and all. Alright, so what are we gonna do to get started tonight? Part of what makes these so fun is even I have no idea where we're going tonight. I did post something in the community tab about the one and only Ashton Kutcher, aka P. Diddy's BFF. A lot of people don't know that. A lot has been scrubbed from the internet, but of course, Bruce McGuire has all the receipts all the time. I'm not going to be going over that here. That's going to be its own podcast with quite a lot of receipts, a lot of mind-shocking information there. Hold the Line says, did you see Mel Gibson did a Rogan interview? Yeah, we were talking about that before. He also dropped the cancer cure and is somehow still alive. What an interesting man. Yeah, we were discussing that in the chat of the re-upload of Mel Gibson's Illuminati interview from the late 90s. Boggin says, Epstein list will never become public. It's actually been public. I'll drop a little teaser. The very first one released, I think, on 4chan actually had Ashton Kutcher's name on it. That one has been scrubbed from the internet for some reason. I'll put up the Epstein list right now. This is Mindshock, baby. Now, the Epstein list is public in redacted. Now, when it's redacted, it's partially redacted in court documents from the Epstein trial, or the Epstein court files. So, this is the one that was circulating before, but a lot of the names are the same. It also includes some names that are either blacked out or not in the court files, but who knows. So this is the Epstein list here. For those that haven't seen it, we can go over everybody. Now, again, I'm not claiming this is real, but some of these names appear in the court documents. Adam Perry Lang, Akon, now that's a shame. That song Ghetto was quite catchy back in the day. Quite catchy. Akon is a great vocalist. I mean, he is top notch. Yes, BB, there's an entire podcast on Epstein. And also, I don't know if I re-uploaded it, but I did have... Oh wow, that was echoing before. That was weird. I did have the entire transcript of Virginia Giuffre's claims. So that was 5.5 hours. I'll double check to see if I re-uploaded that on this channel, but if I didn't, I will. So, Al Gore, Alan Dershowitz, Albert Pinto, Alec Baldwin, Allison Mack. Now, she's from the Nixon cult, which has some interesting overlaps in the whole Kutcher P. Diddy thing, which I'll get into in the Kutcher podcast. Alyssa Rogers, Anderson Cooper, nobody's surprised there. Andrea Mitrovich, Andre Pastrana, Angelina Jolie, Anthony Kiedis, nobody's surprised about that scumbag. This guy's bragging about his entanglements with minors in his book. Like, it's crazy. Nobody bats an eye. It's weird. Anthony Weiner, Barack Obama, no surprise there. Ben Affleck, no surprise there. Bernie Sanders, no surprise there. Beyonce, no surprise there. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, no surprise there. Bob Saget, some people are surprised by that one. Bruce Willis, Casey Wasserman, Callum Hudson O'Doy, Celine Dion. Man, if this is real, that's rough. What the heck, Celine Dion? What the heck? Charles Barkley, that's a little bit surprising. Charlie Sheen, the jury's out on Charlie Sheen. Now, apparently, yeah, man, Charlie Sheen is a tough one, too. Man, I used to like his movies back in the day, but wow. Also, you know what's kind of weird? One of my theories is that a lot of these people, they might have actually been genuinely normal people up to a certain point. Then there was some kind of an Illuminati threshold that they had to cross, that had to go across. And that was kind of like the point of no return. So that doesn't mean they were bad people before crossing the threshold. So before they were involved in anything shady, well, like any criminal, right? Like before they're actually a criminal involved in shady activities, they could have been good people. So that doesn't mean that a lot of these artists in their early work before the crossing of that threshold, that they might have actually been decent people before. And then whatever happened, either they observed things and did nothing about it, which, again, that would make them criminal. You know, because how are you going to just observe anything happening to children or whatever and not say or do anything about it, or they actively participated. But either way, before that happened, they might have actually been decent people and in you know, when they made those early movies. So, yeah, it's a weird thing. Some people just want to say, oh, I'm never watching their films ever again. I mean, that kind of sort of makes sense for anything new, but it is kind of a weird thing, because early on in their careers, they might have not been involved in anything. I don't think the Columbine basement tapes... See, there's been so many claims about those. Let's finish going through the list here, and then we'll we'll get to it. Yeah, Boggin says, I love these Q&As. It's so easy to get Bruce to go down rabbit hole. But then the rabbit holes splinter into other rabbit holes, and then we end up going down those. Yeah, the drones all up and down the East Coast kind of disappeared from the news. Boggin says, how about the blue roofs being invisible to directed energy weapons? Would it be roofs instead of roofs? Wouldn't the term be roofs in plural? Like hooves, roof, roofs. It should be ROOVES, right? But anyway, yeah, just the color frequency wouldn't be targeted. But anyway, Yeah, so we're here. So Charlie Sheen. Oh yeah. So what was I gonna say? I mean, this one is rough. I mean, Okay, I have to play this clip because yeah, we're going off on tangents, but I'm about to bury Joe Rogan pretty hard right now. Not that I haven't already. This is one of the most damning things Joe Rogan have ever said. If anybody has any doubt that Joe Rogan is a complete scumbag, like, let's put his goofery aside, because obviously the guy's a goof. His intelligence is just, the mental capacity's just not there, or he's playing stupid. But I'm gonna go after him morally here. I mean, this is ties to Charlie Sheen, so, oh man. I'm gonna play this clip. Yeah, this is tough. I don't think I've ever gone in on Rogan for this specific thing before, but it's time for him to be completely buried here, because Rogan is complete scum. I mean, all his posturing being against, like, you know, satanic Hollywood and all that. I don't know, man. This guy's such a scumbag. And here come the receipts. So, just a moment. I'll bring up this clip. Actually, I'm gonna play this clip. I'm gonna play this clip of Corey Feldman first, then I'll play the Joe Rogan clip. Let's get a little bit more context here. And this stream is a little bit laggy. I don't know what's going on with YouTube tonight, but no, Bruce is not hitting the bong. Drug-free is the way to be. I wasn't saying anything for a while. The audio should be fine now. Alright, yeah, just give me a second. I'll bring these clips up. Very, very disturbing stuff. Coincidence theorists need to run for the hills here.
He went into great detail. He told me, Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt and to me. In broad daylight, anybody could have walked by, anybody could have seen it.
And he told me that it was Charlie Sheen that did it. And then I said, well, who is it? And then he says, Charlie.
He had said to him, this is what men do. It was pretty much common knowledge. I mean, Charlie Sheen was diddling him on the set of Lucas.
Have you had any celebrity sex?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the radical people like Sean Penn and Mel Gibson and Colin Farrell and P-Rose.
When Charlie Sheen denied the allegations from Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, many believed he was telling the truth. However, he later dropped his lawsuit against Corey Feldman, who claimed Haim told him he was touched inappropriately and even worse behind the scenes of the TV show Lucas. But now, after these allegations were laid to rest, a new reality, far darker than anyone had imagined, has been revealed about Charlie Sheen by Corey Feldman. There are some sinister actions that happened that nobody knows about. Carlos Erwin Estevez, widely known as Charlie Sheen, was born on September 3, 1965 in New York City. He was the youngest son of Martin Sheen, born Ramon Antonio Gerardo Estevez, a respected actor famous for his roles in Apocalypse Now and The West Wing. His mother, Janet Templeton, was an artist. Growing up in a house, he developed a passion for On the Edge, 1980s, while glamorous and toward Haim during the filming of Lucas, 1986, a coming-of-age film where both actors starred. These allegations, which were made public in the years following Haim's tragic death in 2010, painted a harrowing picture of the abuse that young actors were subjected to during that era.
This is from, this compilation is from the Elvis Rock Nation channel. Dropping some bombshells here on the one and only Charlie Sheen.
The accusations were part of a broader narrative of abuse that emerged in Corey Feldman's 2013 memoir, Choreography, where Feldman detailed the predatory behavior prevalent in Hollywood during the 1980s. Feldman, who was a close friend of Haim's, suggested that Haim had confided in him about his troubling experiences with older men in the industry, including Sheen. These revelations sent shockwaves through Hollywood, as they exposed a side of the industry that was often hidden from the public eye. Feldman's accounts highlighted the systemic nature of the abuse, suggesting that it was not limited to isolated incidents, but rather part of a broader culture of exploitation. The fact that such high-profile actors like Sheen were implicated brought a renewed focus on the industry's failures to protect its young talent. The entertainment industry, which had long been criticized for its treatment of women, was now being scrutinized for its treatment of children and young actors. with the narrative surrounding the two Coreys at the forefront of these discussions. Sheen has consistently denied these allegations, maintaining that he never engaged in any inappropriate behavior with Haim. His denials, however, have done little to quell the controversy.
Goofs that pretend that none of this could ever be real. Because Feldman's been saying this stuff for years and years and years, and nobody listened. People just called him crazy. How crazy does he look now in the post-Epstein era? How crazy does he look now?
The allegations, whether proven or not, have cast a long shadow over his career and public image. The accusations against Sheen were not just about one individual's actions, but were seen as indicative of a broader problem within Hollywood. This context made it difficult for Sheen to escape the scrutiny and speculation that followed, as many began to question the culture of silence and complicity that allowed such behavior to go unchecked for so long. The impact of these allegations on Sheen's career and personal life was profound. They added another layer to the already complex narrative surrounding his public troubled individual. Feldman and Sheen serve as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, episode at the height of its success. The character of Charlie Harper seemed tailor-made for Sheen, drawing on his real-life persona as a womanizer and party-goer. However, Sheen's off-screen behavior increasingly mirrored the reckless lifestyle of his character. His battle with substance abuse became public knowledge, and Sheen's bizarre antics were widely covered by news outlets and became the subject of countless internet memes. In the wake of his firing, Sheen launched a nationwide tour called My Violent Torpedo of Truth.
Does that look like a trustworthy individual right there? So, again, he's on the leaked Epstein list. Again, I'm not claiming that list is legitimate in any way. This is, of course, Mindshock, where the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. I am not pretending or hallucinating to know what is or isn't true like all the goofs out there. We are just discussing many different theories and allegations. So, yeah, this is really, really tough. This is really, really tough because what drives all these... So, again, fame and fortune, some people try to just say, oh, it's just the fame and fortune. That's why they all become alcoholics and druggies. But what if they're becoming alcoholics and druggies to cope with what they've seen or been complicit with in the degenerate Illuminati cesspool of filth known as Hollywood? I mean, it seems like so many of them turn to drugs, so many child actors are completely wrecked, and in the past it was just kind of written off as fame and fortune, being rich and having anything you want. But what if it's far darker? Because if all of these Illuminati satanic Hollywood theories are true, then it would make sense. All of these spirals would make sense. If all of them are MK Ultra, Project Monarch, etc., if that's all true, and I am not claiming it is, does everything make sense then?
Defeat is Not an Option, which received mixed reviews and was widely seen as an attempt to capitalize on his newfound notoriety. The tour featured Sheen sharing anecdotes from his life and career, often in a rambling and incoherent manner. The public fascination with Sheen's meltdown underscored a growing trend in celebrity culture, where personal struggles and erratic behavior often receive more attention than professional achievements. Sheen's erratic behavior and substance abuse issues also had a profound impact on his personal relationships. His marriages to Donna Peel, Denise Richards, and Brooke Muller all ended in divorce, with allegations of infidelity, abuse, and substance abuse often surfacing in the media.
Again, does this look like a trustworthy individual? I mean, it's kind of crazy, too, because I have to say, I was a Charlie Sheen fan. I mean, I've just seen almost just about all of his movies, and they're so entertaining. He's such an entertaining bastard. It can't be denied. However, I mean, this just sounds so insane, but when you look at his life, like, at the time Feldman made the allegations, this was actually before Sheen's meltdowns. Now, he didn't, for decades even, he didn't name names for a long time. But the stories, the exact stories, he's been making these claims for decades. At the time, this was before Sheen's spiral, or latest spiral. So, yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Alright, I'm gonna give you a little teaser of what I'm gonna cover in the Ashton Kutcher podcast. But here is, has anybody seen the supposedly AI song of Justin Bieber? I'm gonna play it right now. There he is.
I showed up looking for a dream, light so bright, couldn't see the scheme. He had the stars, the cash, the glow. I wanted it, but didn't know the show. They handed drinks, told me to play, but I gave too much of me away. Fell into the madness of the scene, chasing all that glitter, living obscene. But now I see the devil in the deal. What I thought was freedom was a cage so real. Promises wrapped up in chains, all that's left to these silent pains. Lost myself at a Diddy party, didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Was it worth all the fortune and fame? All the girls never walking the same. Signed the paper so he never has to say so. Lost myself at a Diddy party, didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Was it worth all the fortune and fame? All the girls never walking the same.
That might be one of the craziest lines in any song ever. All the girls never walking the same. That is crazy. So anyway, here's a theory that I'm going to unleash here. So supposedly this is AI. But what if it really was Bieber? What if it really was Bieber? And he let everybody pretend it was AI. Like, he did it. He did this release, unofficial release, leaked it online, let people download it, whatever. Everyone just assumed it was AI. He let the news report that it was AI. And that was his so-called soft disclosure of the entire Diddy situation. I'm actually going to talk about that more in the Ashton Kutcher podcast. But you guys want to hear the rest of the song? It's actually kind of catchy. In a very sick, sadistic way. In terms of the content, it's very sick and sadistic. But it's like a weird, popish song. Austin does not want to finish listening to the song. Who wants to finish listening to the song? It's already half over, but I don't even remember if it's just the refrain, but what's the rest? Yes, Bug, and AI is destroying culture. Well, it was already destroyed before AI, but yeah, it's speeding it up. Court of public opinion says so. It'd be, yeah, let's just finish it for comprehensive purposes.
Signed the paper so he never has to say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party. The face is blurred, the night's too long. A trap disguised in a perfect song. They told me it's how till you break the glass. But no one told me I'd lose myself that fast. Cameras flash, secrets sold. Now I'm just another story he controls. The dream they sell is full of lies. You lose yourself beneath the disguise. Now the headlines are whispering the truth, but it's too late to get back my youth. The cost of playing this deadly game was my heart, my soul, and my name. Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Was it worth all the fortune and fame? All the girls never walking the same. Signed a paper so he never has to say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party. Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for it. Wasn't worth me. I lost myself. Wasn't worth. Lost myself at a Diddy. Wasn't worth. Has to say. Lines. The truth won't stay, but the scars and regrets never go away. Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new. Signed the paper so.
What a song. What a song. You guys want another sneak preview of some video receipts of Kutcher and P. Diddy? Somebody actually set it to this song, so here's the clip.
Lost myself. Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. Lost myself, but it cost me.
There's actually many, many hours of receipts, but I just figured I'd drop a couple teasers here. Kutcher was also the only individual to ever co-host a Diddy party with P. Diddy. Justin Johnson saying ain't no party like a Diddy party. Yeah, this is real. This is really weird. Like, some of the footage from some of these parties is just insane. Can only imagine what's on all those hard drives they took from Diddy's home. Anyway, let's get back to the Sheen Feldman situation.
His relationships with his children were also strained, with Richards and Mueller both obtaining restraining orders against him at different points. Throughout his career, Sheen struggled with substance abuse, a battle that began in his early 20s and continued for decades. His addiction issues were often intertwined with his professional life, leading to multiple stints in rehab and several highly publicized relapses. Initially, Sheen's substance use was perceived as part of the rebellious, party-loving persona that he had cultivated both on-screen and off. However, As the years went by, it became increasingly clear that his drug and alcohol use was not just recreational, but a serious and destructive addiction that would have far-reaching consequences on both his career and personal life. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Sheen's drug use escalated dramatically. He became a regular fixture in tabloid headlines for his wild antics and frequent run-ins with the law. During this period, his career began to suffer. With fewer roles coming his way as producers, Sheen briefly seemed to stabilize addiction problem, particularly in the high-pressure environment of Hollywood, where access to drugs and alcohol is often easy, and where public scrutiny can exacerbate personal struggles. In November 2015, Charlie Sheen made a shocking revelation on NBC's Today Show. He was HIV positive. Sheen stated that he had been diagnosed 4 years earlier and had chosen to keep his condition private to avoid a media frenzy and protect his family's privacy. The actor disclosed that he had been living with the virus in secret, enduring the fear and anxiety of his diagnosis alone. He also revealed that he had been the victim of extortion.
Okay. For people that say that it's not real, okay, we need to define some terms. I don't want to go into this too far, but... So, Kerry Mullis, the guy that got the Nobel Prize for the PCR test, he was actually one of the front runners in saying, because the scientism establishment and the big pharma cult and all their bootlickers, they were claiming that HIV causes AIDS. So Kerry Mullis, the guy that actually invented the PCR test that all these goofs were trying to pretend proves this or that, so he said it doesn't. It doesn't tell you you're sick, etc., etc. You can find anything in anyone, depending obviously on the sensitivity and how that test works. Now, obviously, AIDS is basically an immune deficiency, which means your immune system is not working perfectly. So if we define it as that, yes, that is real. There's a lot of people. Now, to officially have AIDS, basically, there's a threshold for the lack of function. So your immune system has to be working a certain amount or not working a certain amount. So it has to be at a certain level of deficiency to qualify you for AIDS. So if it's above that level, you don't have AIDS. If it's below the level, you have AIDS. That's technically the explanation. If we go by those definitions, then yes, it's technically real. There are people who do not have optimally functioning immune systems. Now, does anybody actually die from that, or do they die from something else due to the lack of a proper immune system? That's a subject for another podcast. So, all right. Yeah, so who thinks that Sheen was disclosing to all his partners that he's HIV positive, etc.?
Paying millions of dollars to keep his diagnosis from becoming public, as he feared the potential backlash and stigma that might come from the disclosure. Sheen's decision to come forward was partly motivated by a desire to stop the extortion, which he described as a draining and ongoing financial and emotional burden. By making
You know what's really, really sad? In looking at some of these photos of these Hollywood actors when they were younger, possibly before crossing the threshold into all of the satanic Illuminati insanity, because they do look relatively young, happy, and healthy before that threshold cross. And then you can see notable differences in behavior, and even just, they don't have that healthy look anymore. In this particular photo, now again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. Maybe in this photo they already did cross the threshold. But if I had to guess, I could guess maybe they didn't. They look so happy and healthy before Hollywood and in their very early days in Hollywood. And then if you look at virtually anybody, There's a certain point in their career where there's like a switch, like a mental and physical switch, and then they're completely different afterwards. But before, like, you could actually possibly make the case this was before he did anything super dark and satanic. Possibly. Again, I can't, I don't know. I'm just making these observations about certain photos and videos of these so-called stars in Hollywood, in the city of angels fallen or otherwise. And it's just, it was always sad to me because they looked so happy and healthy trying to... Yeah, Truth Trollette says the light in their eyes is gone after crossing the threshold. Yes. I mean, everything, the body language, like, look how happy and healthy they look here. I mean, this is obviously very, very early in all of their careers here. Something happened. Now, again, I'm not claiming to know what did or didn't happen. But it's just, it's so obvious that something happened. I mean, even in certain true crime cases, look at the Maura Murray case. I know some people might be sick of that case already. I have the most episodes on that case than any other case. But there's a notable difference in the photos of Maura Murray before and after West Point. So it's like something happened. And you could take that with anybody. It's like there's a noticeable difference. Not just the light in the eyes, but the body language, the color of the skin. There's just a certain mental and physical health that's evident. And then there's some kind of point in time, and then it's not evident after that point in time. Bama Dog Mom says, hey, Bruce, are we doing anything for Inauguration Monday? I might do something that night. I don't know what I'm doing during the day. I don't know what time the inauguration is, but supposedly something's gonna happen during it. So I'll probably do a stream on Sunday night discussing a lot of that. There have been some bold predictions. Like there's gonna be some kind of, event. Bombing or otherwise. So yeah, but it's just always sad because I've seen it so many times where these young actors actually seem young, happy, healthy. And then whatever the age is, whether it's the 27 or 33, whatever that number is, and it's different for most, and it's not the same for every single one, and then they're totally different after a certain point in time. But let's continue.
Making his status public, Sheen hoped to put an end to the blackmail and regain control over his narrative. Additionally, he aimed to use his disclosure as an opportunity to raise awareness about HIV and encourage others living with the virus to seek support and treatment. His announcement was met with a mix of shock, sympathy, and criticism, as many were surprised by his revelation and concerned about the implications of his previous actions. Sheen's openness about his condition sparked a national conversation about HIV and the stigma surrounding it, with Sheen using his platform to advocate for increased awareness and education. He appeared on various talk shows and in interviews, discussing his experience with HIV and emphasizing the importance of safe practices, regular testing, and reducing stigma. For some, Sheen's candidness was seen as a positive step towards reducing the stigma associated with HIV, particularly in a society where misconceptions about the virus still persist. His willingness to talk about his diagnosis helped to humanize the condition and provided a more relatable face for HIV awareness actions and sought to educate others. The Feldman's memoir and subsequent interviews reignited discussions about Hollywood's dark underbelly and the exploitation of young actors. The accusations against Sheen have never been proven, but they have significantly impacted his public image and reputation. Sheen has vehemently denied the allegations, and no legal charges have been filed against him in connection with Haim. However, the accusations have highlighted the predatory behavior that was rampant in Hollywood during the 1980s and 1990s and have sparked broader conversations about protecting young actors in the industry.
Who's seen Wall Street? The was that 87, the Oliver Stone movie, and Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps. I actually thought those movies were pretty good. I thought they were like some of the best Wall Street type movies. Yeah, I thought he was pretty underrated. Some people actually think that's Charlie Sheen's best movie. And let's not fall for false dichotomies. Obviously, there are some male to female or female to male individuals in Hollywood, and it seems like that was the case for a very long time. But some people just automatically assume it's everybody all the time. I really don't think so. I think if certain ones with certain family histories that were already into Hollywood or like upper levels of government or whatever, they're more likely to have been that. But I think there's a certain percentage, obviously I don't know what the percentage is, of just genuine individuals who just went to Hollywood to try to make it big, and they did. And the ones that didn't, maybe they weren't willing to cross that threshold. And then some of them were willing to cross that threshold. That doesn't mean it's every single one of them that ended up crossing the threshold was previously born the opposite gender. I don't know about that. Sometimes conspiracy theorists really just go off the deep end.
Feldman has continued to advocate for survivors of abuse in Hollywood, using his platform to call for greater accountability and ongoing controversy surrounding his career. Charlie Sheen's career has been marked by extreme highs and lows, from his early success in iconic films like Platoon and Wall Street, to his rise as one of television's highest-paid actors.
And again, just to illustrate what I was saying before, this almost doesn't even look like the same guy compared to that young guy smiling in the picture. Like, it looks like this individual really could have been involved in some dark stuff. Again, I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying, based on his appearance here, this does not seem to be a happy, healthy individual. There seems to be some darkness here. Not just in the eyes, but the body language, the facial expression. It's definitely, if there was a crossing of the threshold, this would have been after the fact. Something else is here talking trash on Feldman. Why would you say that? I mean, there's quite a few accounts from people other than Feldman that corroborate Feldman's stories about the abuse.
On 2.5 Men. His talent as an actor is undeniable and turmoil. Yet, despite these challenges, Sheen has shown a remarkable ability to bounce back, maintaining a presence in Hollywood even after multiple setbacks. In recent years, Sheen has made efforts to address his past behavior and move towards a more positive future. He has been open about his struggles with incredible talent. Men remain the often tumultuous reality of
Okay, so that's some of the backstory. I'm gonna play the Joe Rogan clip here of this degenerate Joe Rogan.
Odd little fella.
Yeah, he's been partying hard for a long
Fella.
Yeah, he's been partying hard for a long time.
Yeah. But he also was doing this thing where he's trying to do like a Hugh Hefner thing where he had like Corey's Angels.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he had like a reality show that he was doing where he had all these gals living at his place. And, it was all like some sort of a free love type situation.
I love those guys that become reality fixtures. Like, you don't really even, I don't even remember why he's famous. Like, I don't even remember the show that he was on.
He's in a bunch of movies, man. Yeah, here's the girls.
But like people today, like kids that are in their teens and 20s, they don't fucking know what he's from originally.
And he's still dressing like Michael Jackson. That's what's
Yeah.
weird. He's got Michael Jackson hair.
A lot of Botox.
Do you think so?
Yeah, look at those cheeks. Those
Hard to tell.
chipmunk cheeks.
Is that what happens? Your cheeks swell up?
There's no lines. He's got no line.
I don't even know who this guy is or why he's shaking. I mean, he's visibly shaking. His arms are shaking. I have no clue who this goof is, but if anybody in the chat knows.
He did a show, a live show that got recorded, and it was like at like a softball game or something fucking crazy. It's like he was out there on this weird stage, and these people were like staring at him, and he's doing like this bizarre dance and singing this song that's just so misguided. Like the whole thing was just such a disaster that when we watched it on the show, yeah, this is it. So he's got the angels. Give me some volume, young Jamie. And like, so he's dressed up again like Michael Jackson. So I guess Michael Jackson didn't molest him, because if he did, he probably wouldn't be like mimicking Michael Jackson and singing songs. But
So obviously Rogan's completely brain dead. I mean, this guy's basically a vegetable. I mean, he doesn't know anything about how victims not only replicate the behavior, they become those that abuse them. I mean, that's pretty standard in psychology. First of all. Second of all, yes, Boggin is saying Jackson might have not committed any crimes against children. We don't know. That could have been all a big psyop. And, yeah. Or it could have been some kind of MK Ultra situation where he had alters and maybe one of them did, but the other ones didn't. We'll be exploring all of that in a dedicated Jackson episode, deep dive. I mean, there's a lot there to uncover, but Rogan's sheer stupidity on this subject is insane. I mean, has he, not to mention like the mental issues that happen with people that are abused, for Rogan to hallucinate that he couldn't have been. I mean, some of these relationships are really complicated, especially like the people who, if it was their parents or whoever, they still love their parent even though the parent abused them. They might still, mimic the parent or whatever. So Rogan's sheer, utter goofery here, no surprise, because, I mean, he is a goof. But this guy is such a scumbag, as we'll continue to see in this clip.
listen to this. Listen, give me some volume. What is this song called? Plays the State College Spikes.
It's also being piped in. He's lip syncing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Singing over his vocal track. But
How can you tell?
It's not mixed well at all. You can hear
You can
a
see
little
it.
bit of
But it's just so strange. Like all these people on the stage, and there's people are filming it. Like that girl
She's
to
not
the right
playing
in the
guitar.
pink. That girl who's filming it.
Yeah.
Is she ever gonna watch this?
Yeah.
Look, she's like, look, I got it. I got it on my camera. How about that little kid? The little kid's like, Mommy, what's happening here? The fuck is going on? He's got like a little bit of a paunch that's hanging out over the bottom of his jacket. His jacket's like a little too short. Like it was probably the same jacket he was wearing when he was getting diddled.
Does anybody think this is funny? Like, Rogan is just such a scumbag. Like, what? I mean, this is only the start of the clip here. I mean, Joe Rogan's a joke. Jogan. What a joke of a human being. I mean, this guy is just a piece of filth. Because even, like, how would he know for sure whether it did or didn't happen to him? Because, I mean, would you make fun of somebody? Because, yeah, maybe he made it up. Maybe he's mentally ill. What if he's not? So, it's such a weird thing to say, isn't it? Like, how much of a complete scumbag of a human do you have to be to make a joke about that. Like, even if you think it didn't happen to him, to make a joke about that? Like, what kind of level of scum is Joe Rogan?
That when he was like 10. His jacket's like a little too short. Like it was probably the same jacket he was wearing when he was getting diddled. That when he was like 10.
I feel like something happened during this. Like he fell off the stage or one of the.
He just made it that kind of joke about a 10-year-old. I mean, wow. I mean, if anybody didn't know that this guy was complete scum before, I mean, complete scum.
There's another one. I think that was another performance.
I want to see a shot of the crowd.
The girl's hot though. The girl that's just
Yeah,
standing
she
there.
is.
You don't think that girl's really playing guitar?
No, unless there's only one note in the whole song.
There's maybe 20 people watching this, which is one of the things that's even sadder.
Yeah, that blonde girl's hot.
It's after a minor league baseball game.
It's so strange. Like, why would he think that this is a good idea to do? Maybe it's like practice. Maybe
A
it's
friend of
like,
mine said he's going to see him in San Antonio in a couple weeks.
tell your friend to jump off a bridge.
Well, he's going to go just to see if this is what happens. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he, as a fan, he's not going.
But meanwhile,
look at this.
See, he's got the Michael Jackson thing. You see, he does like a fantastic Michael Jackson impression. He was on stage once. I think he hosted Evening at the Improv one night, and he did it like with a full Michael Jackson outfit on. And he was like dancing, and he had the fedora on, and
wow,
so weird.
Wow.
But look, give the guy some credit. If he really was molested as a kid in Hollywood, what is this? It's another one?
Right after that, they had him on the Today Show to redo the performance to
Oh, boy.
potentially get a viral video out of it, and they did. And
Okay.
then they had him on again. He was just acting real weird.
He's acting weird. And he's got a hood on, and all these girls are with him.
I think the same song. It's called "Go For It."
Look
if you
at
wanna
this.
Look it up.
Look at this outfit he's wearing. And he's dancing. Oh boy. What kind of drugs is he on? All of them?
He's on a lot of antidepressants.
You think so?
And then he's over medicated with ADHD, some type of stimulant.
You think so?
Yeah, it's a combination. They're working against each other.
What makes you say this?
Well, you couldn't learn all those dance moves without being on some kind of stimulant.
Is this guy a complete vegetable too? That was not the most intricate dance choreography, not even close. Like, you could easily learn that without being medicated. I mean, did he, like, that wasn't exactly the most intricate choreography in the history of dance. But here's the thing, though. Rogan and this goof, they're actually spending time making fun of a guy who's, by the way, a way better dancer and actor than either of them. And they're actually spending time making fun of a potential victim, child victim. Because even Rogan, even there, he kind of was admitting, oh, well, if it happened, whatever, after he made that joke about a 10-year-old. I mean, wow. I mean, just the level of scum that these guys are. What is going on here?
Really?
At that age, that's not natural to have that kind of energy.
Doing those dance moves since he was little.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Those girls are hot.
Yeah.
Are those really the angels?
Like, she's not playing the guitar. She's fixing her dress with her right hand instead of playing the guitar.
Well, that guitar plays itself, bro.
Yeah.
This is so strange. Like, he literally has a Michael Jackson haircut. Such an odd fella. A live show. When we watch a song that's just so misguided, he probably wouldn't be
sinking
on the stage and there's people filming it.
Yeah.
Got it on my camera. His jacket's like a little too short. Like, it was probably the same jacket he was wearing when he was getting diddled. Back when he was like 10.
Look at the glee in this scum's eyes at making that joke about a 10-year-old. Look at the glee. Look at the sheer glee in this piece of filth's eyes. Because even if he believes that that didn't happen to him, because maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but look at the sheer glee in this piece of filth's eyes. If anybody had any question as to the level of morality of Joe Rogan, I mean, this guy's complete scum. I mean, this is crazy. Supermato Chippy says the guest is comedian Greg Fitzsimmons. Yeah, he needs to be put on a list as well. I mean, these guys are such scumbags. And if Feldman does have mental health issues, like, regardless of whether he was telling the truth or not, they're making fun of a guy with potential mental health issues who's a potential child victim. They're actually spending time on this podcast making fun of a guy. And his dance moves are actually really good. I mean, it's not like they were horrible and he was falling. They said he fell down one time and they were making fun of this guy falling down. I mean, this guy's just, Rogan is just absolutely a disgusting human being. I mean, that's not the first joke. He's made a lot of shady jokes over the years. But look at the sheer glee in this piece of filth's eyes for making this joke. The sheer glee. There's no coming back from this, Joe Rogan. There's no coming back from this. So let's go back to the list here. So yeah, Charlie Sheen was on the list, which actually that got us down that rabbit hole. Charlize Theron, also not surprising. Chelsea Handler, Cher, Chris Tucker, unfortunately. So I think this was after the first Rush Hour, I believe. Because I think there were images released of him going to Epstein Island. Have you guys seen those? I think I put those up in the Epstein podcast. I'll put it on the screen again. It looks like it was around 2000. So that would have been after the first Rush Hour, I think. But I'm not sure. Because he did seem different in Rush Hour 2 versus Rush Hour 1. So I don't know what his threshold was. He actually did a movie with Charlie Sheen, Money Talks. Do you guys remember that? That actually might be my favorite Chris Tucker movie. That was a great movie. Now, obviously, Sheen had crossed the threshold at that point, if he did. Because that was, he seemed a lot different in that movie. But I'm not sure about Tucker. Tucker might not have crossed the threshold yet during Money Talks. Now, we also don't know how many visits there were or what the years were. Maybe he crossed the threshold earlier. I don't know. But, let's see here. Where's the Chris Tucker receipt? Because a lot of people are saying that this list was fake, and yet there are so many receipts with the individuals on this list. I know I got it somewhere. I thought I had it in the Epstein. Give me a second here. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Here's the receipt. Epstein Island, Chris Tucker. So I believe the date here is around 2000, but I am not sure. Could have been a little earlier or later, I guess. And I think I think the allegations were the girl on the far right is 17. I'm not sure. And that's a shame about Chris Tucker. That's a real shame. Something else is here saying Corey Feldman was responsible for procuring his then best friend Corey Haim to be abused by Sheen. Also, he begs for money to name names, so a weasel. Are you really judging a guy that was a victim, though? If he was a victim, are you claiming he wasn't a victim and he just facilitated the victimization of Haim? I haven't heard that. I don't know where you got that from. Again, I don't claim anything is true or untrue. Ben holding the ramparts long since MTLQC. Man, what a name you got there, Ben. Not gonna lie, I think Feldman is also sus. He always had revelations on the way the other Corey died. He got some second chance at revamping his career. As in getting unwarranted attention for this type of stuff. Yeah, I don't make any claims. I'm just saying it's possible what Feldman is saying is true. And the names that Feldman did name, other people also named them independent of Feldman. Just saying. Okay, something else is here saying, no, I'm not saying he wasn't abused. Well, it's kind of hard to judge. If he's abused as a child and mentally wrecked and coerced into procuring others, are you really going to judge a child victim for doing that? Okay, so, I mean, we might as well play the clip here. I'll play the clip from my own podcast. Chris Tucker. So here's the thing. So I have to say, like, the coincidence theorists, I mean, they're getting blown out on the scoreboard. Because remember when all of these photos were circulating? Now, maybe the photos are fake. I have no idea if they're fake or not. Of just Chris Tucker flying on the so-called Lolita Express, whatever, involved with Epstein in some capacity, known or unknown. And just the internet was flooded with these Dunning-Kruger goof coincidence theorists pretending and hallucinating that it was all fake. His name on official court documentation.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Not Smokey. Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Epstein Island Chris Tucker.
Man, that Cat Williams interview from last year, from the beginning of last year, aged interestingly well. He said Diddy's going down and all will be revealed, right? Man, we should probably go over that interview again, because that was crazy. All right, let's continue going down this list here. These are some crazy names. I don't know who Chris Wagner is. Chrissy Teigen? Cyndi Lauper? Oh no. Another 80s great goes down, if this is true, of course. Lord Zed says Rush Hour 3 was awesome. I think you're alone on that, my friend. I mean, that was borderline unwatchable. And what was up? I mean, man, we need to... That... Oh, man. That was a tough movie. That was a really tough movie. Why would they have in Rush Hour 3? Why would they have? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Was this some kind of like Illuminati side joke? I was gonna put the clip up, but I don't even feel like putting the clip up. It's just so messed up. So they have Roman Polanski give Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan an anal cavity search in the movie. Which is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. It's such poor taste. I mean, Rush Hour 3 was just an absolute train wreck from start to finish. But anyway. Little Star says, Cyndi Lauper, that almost makes me think it's true. She isn't very relevant anymore. Man, she was cool, though, back in the day, though. Back in the 80s. Oh, man. If this list is legit, oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Oh, man. Sick Ghost says, remember Chris Tucker's character in The Fifth Element? Yeah, if that's not Illuminati humiliation ritual, I don't know what is. I mean, he was so goofy in that movie. That looked like a Illuminati humiliation ritual if I've ever seen one. Oh yeah, I need to get that episode back up. I'll probably premiere that tomorrow. Illuminati humiliation rituals. That needs to get back online. Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, Chris Tucker in The Fifth Element. Wearing this weird dress with very weird hairstyle. It's quite a phallic hairstyle. Anyway, what a goof. I mean, why would he even do that? I don't know. Claire Hazel, don't know who that is. Courtney Cox, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. I don't watch Friends. I mean, Friends, you can actually make the argument, and this is a huge tangent. You can make the argument, obviously 90210, I actually mentioned that 90210, the TV show, it doesn't get enough credit for starting the degeneracy spiral in the United States, because before 90210, like, younger kids, like, they weren't exposed to this kind of degeneracy and promiscuity and just all-out sodomy. I mean, 90210 started the sodomy degeneracy spiral in the Western world because younger kids were just not exposed to that type of stuff. I mean, this was prime time television. This is network broadcast television, not cable. And then, of course, Friends as well. That's interesting. Lord Zed said Spielberg announced he's making a UFO movie filmed in Jersey in August before drones came to Jersey. I did not know that. Bama Dog Mom says, speaking on Roman Polanski, have you done a deep dive on the Manson murders? I read Chaos last summer. I will be doing a few different podcasts because there are some tangents on Manson and the Manson murders that have not been adequately explored. I'll be going down a few different ones. Rodney Thomas says Schwartz was talking on a podcast about his career and said he knew those two personally. He said that Haim and Feldman weren't actually that close. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard. Did he follow both of them around all the time? I mean, like any supposed best friends, I'm sure there were time periods where they were close and not close. But I don't know if you could fake that kind of chemistry in their movies. I mean, are you saying they're that good of actors to be that, so they weren't really buddies? I don't know. Sick Ghost says, I see people walking around like that character wanting to be taken seriously nowadays. You mean Chris Tucker's Fifth Element character? Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Ben says, my sister said this to me this week. Look at the Friends episodes again, considering the age we were when we started watching it. Yeah, I mean, the first person who said it, I actually heard Ben Shapiro, of all people, talking about how Friends, he didn't really specifically talk about it being a catalyst for sodomite degeneracy in the Western world, but he just said it wasn't relatable to people with actual values that didn't live in a big city. People who didn't want to be promiscuous and chase fame and fortune in a big city. But yeah, Lord Zed says Dawson's Creek is another satanic abomination. How dare you, Lord Zed? How dare you? Oh man, Dawson's Creek is definitely a curiosity. Because I don't remember it specifically promoting degeneracy. I vaguely remember the first season, because when the pilot aired, it was such a big deal. This would have been, what, 97-ish? Was it 97 or 98, somewhere around there? I remember the promotion for the pilot was out of control. Literally everybody watched that pilot. I don't remember that show actually promoting sodomy and degeneracy. I mean, maybe in the later seasons, I didn't watch those. But in season 1, they had that homo character. And that was the first homo kiss on I think, network television. Yeah. Okay, so they were promoting that agenda. But in terms of casual sodomy, see, with 90210 and Friends, I mean, that was just outright promotion of promiscuous sodomy. Whereas, and just a complete lack of morality across the board. Dawson's Creek, other than the homo agenda, I don't remember anything else being that crazy in Dawson's Creek. Does anybody? I really don't remember. I vaguely remember some of the first season. I'm not sure I watched too much past that, but man, I can't believe we're talking about Dawson's Creek. What the heck is going on? Sick Ghost says Baywatch was such a wholesome show. Here's the thing, but Baywatch also didn't really promote outright sodomy, and they were all adults. They weren't high school students. Like, that's actually a point for Friends, where at least they were adults. Like, 90210 was actively promoting degenerate, promiscuous sodomy amongst high schoolers, underage high schoolers. Like, there's a special place in hell for 90210. Like, Friends was also degenerate Illuminati filth promoting promiscuous sodomy, but at least it was among adults. Like, I mean, it's still horrible, because obviously kids watched it and wanted to be like those adults. And obviously humor gets you into that alpha brainwave state where you become susceptible to all that MK Ultra brainwashing, all those psyops for degeneracy. But 90210 was blatant. I mean, that was blatant, and not just the promotion of promiscuous sodomy, but materialism. So they're in Beverly Hills, like they're these rich kids driving cars and the fashion, like the promotion of satanic materialism in addition to the degenerate promiscuous sodomy. I mean, there's a special place in hell for 90210. I would argue Baywatch wasn't actually that bad. I mean, yes, there was the slow motion runs, but I mean, everybody wanted to be in shape. Everybody, and just the values of hard work, of saving lives as lifeguards and being lifeguards, that is not a high-paying job. But there's value in the job and saving lives and being in shape and having fun on the beach. Life's more than just about making money and materialism. Like, you could actually have fun living life out in nature, surfing. I mean, I would argue Baywatch really wasn't that bad. And it was just highly entertaining, and it was just so 90s. Like, they had all these episodes about, like, triathlons and working out and the workout montages. And, of course, yeah, how dare you say anything disparaging about the Hoff and the Hoff show. You know what's kind of crazy? Like, on the surface, Baywatch was really, really targeted, but it was far more wholesome than something like 90210 or Friends. Sick Ghost says Hasselhoff was a great musician as well, yeah. And look who's not on the list. The Hoff. You won't find people like the Hoff or Steven Seagal on lists like these, real or fake. Justin Johnson says we need a Hoff Seagal duo. Yeah, I mean that is long overdue. We need an entire Hoff Seagal album. How awesome would that be? But yeah, special place in hell for 90210. Not enough people go after that show. I mean, maybe I need to do a whole podcast on it. Also, I didn't really watch Melrose Place, but what about Party of Five? I didn't watch that either. Did that promote promiscuous sodomy? I mean, it might not have. I don't know, but it definitely brought attention to, because that wasn't a two-parent household, right? Like the normalization of single-parent households is also, you know, yeah, that's tough because that causes a lot of issues in society as well. Man, I can't believe we went to Dawson's Creek. Yeah, other than the homo agenda, is there any? I just don't remember promiscuous sodomy actually being promoted on that show. I mean, maybe it was. I just don't remember. All I remember is that Dawson wanted to be a filmmaker. Now, he idolized Spielberg, which is a red flag. That's definitely a red flag. But I thought it was rather wholesome, and they actually weren't. They weren't highly promiscuous, at least not in the first season, unlike 90210. How dare you insult James Vanderbeek Boggin? How dare you? Isn't he like a hardcore conservative that lives in Texas with like a huge family? Is he like a hardcore Christian conservative? James Vanderbeek? I mean, I don't know. I thought he was, though. Yeah, I don't think I watched Melrose Place. I remember nothing about it, but it seemed like it promoted some like materialism and degeneracy, but I don't know. At least they were adults. I mean, come on. 90210 was about high school freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. You know what's kind of crazy? Sick Ghost is saying Baywatch was such a wholesome show. It kind of was, though. It promoted good values. I mean, wasn't there an episode where Pamela Anderson was offered like this crazy modeling contract in Hollywood or something, and she turned it down to be a lifeguard? I mean, when would you ever see something like that? I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know. And it's just so about fitness and hard work and good values. I mean, the montages are really the only thing you can kind of say was a little iffy, but these, and again, they were all adults. The only shady episode, actually, there was a shady episode from season 1 where, oh man, do people remember season 1? Season 1 was completely different than the others. I have a real issue. There was one serial killer episode in season 1 that was, like, played comedically. Like, people were actually being murdered on the show, and they were making jokes about it. It was crazy. But there was, this is kind of crazy. I can't believe we're talking about Baywatch on this, but in season 1, Erica Elionak, her character, there was an illusion made that high school girls, when they're like 15, they had to sleep with a lifeguard. It was like a dare or a rite of passage in the area. That was really shady. But that was like a 3-second line. And they kind of alleged it was Numi. They kind of hinted that it was Numi. But, yeah. So anyway, how did we get to all of this? There's people blaspheming Dawson's Creek here, and I can't really defend Dawson's Creek. Because not just that, it was just a huge push in the homo agenda. But I don't remember, like, any kind of explicit promotion of promiscuous, degenerate sodomy. Unlike all these other shows. But who knows? Again, I just vaguely remember parts of the first season. Alright, let's continue here. We have Courtney Love. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. By the way, I will be getting the Kurt Cobain podcast back up as well. Demi Moore. Oh, man. I'll be going over her in the Ashton Kutcher podcast. Ashton Kutcher. Man, I'm totally butchering people's names tonight. Jogan. Truth Trollette says, I never watched any of these shows. I'm glad to. Yeah, no, they do psychological damage. Especially people with older siblings. Like, if you're 20 and you're watching 90210 or whatever, but if you're letting your kid brother or kid sister watch that when they're like 10, I mean, you're messing people up for life. For life. BB says, I wish my parents had limited and censored my TV viewing as a kid. Yeah, I mean, kids would make fun of their parents for not letting them watch, stuff like that. But the thing that's kind of crazy, too, on the surface, like, I don't even remember, like, episode 1 of 90210 might have not actually even been that horrible. I mean, maybe it was, I don't remember. But a lot of these shows, they actually start off not horrible, and then they get so bad, like the Boiling Frog example. I mean, just unrecognizable, and sometimes it doesn't even take that many episodes. Bama Dog Mom says, I didn't watch them either. Home Improvement, Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Hey Dude, Wings, Saved by the... Boy Meets World is actually really dark. Oh man, that needs an Illuminati expose. Home Improvement... See, okay, I'm a big Tim Allen fan. We were actually talking about Tim Allen. We were talking about Tim Allen a lot on the other podcast. But, yeah, Home Improvement had some weird feminism propaganda in there. With Jill going back to school. And there was also, like, a lot of shade. Like, it wasn't as bad as The Simpsons with Homer. As, like, the bumbling idiot dad. But Tim Allen there were certain episodes where, like, he did not have authority in the family. Like, it was definitely not traditional. And there were just, the feminism psyop was in full play in many episodes. Les Xylophone says Tim Allen was a weight mover in Michigan. No, they sneak stuff in, though. Like, even in Boy Meets World, there was so much... Oh, man, it was pretty terrible. Like, because they were sneaky about it. Like, 90210, okay, maybe the first episode wasn't bad, but within a few episodes, I mean, it definitely descended into degeneracy quite quickly. Yeah, Demi Moore. Lord Zed says Demi Moore is still hot. She looks pretty good, yeah. Is it the adrenochrome? Did you read her memoir? Apparently, she revealed some things about some pretty serious abuse when she was a child. Apparently, her mother allowed her to be SA'd when she was really young for like $500. And I'll be getting into that in the Kutcher podcast a little bit, too. Yeah, apparently, so Ben says Topanga was cute. I thought she was trending the other day at X at the same time as Topanga Canyon was allegedly ablaze. Yeah, so, yeah, there was a lot of strange situations on Boy Meets World. Not just, yeah, like behind the scenes too, like allegations with producers and all of that stuff. And they never even really explicitly talk about it that much, which is also strange, but I don't know. Yes, Justin Johnson. Pamela Anderson was on Home Improvement as well, yeah. She was kind of awesome in the early days. And you know what's really crazy? Because I watched some documentaries. Supposedly, she was not a degenerate at all. She was wholesome with values when she arrived in Hollywood. And I forget when I guess it was somewhere around maybe the second Playboy shoot or something like that. Or third. And then when she got more involved with Hollywood and some of these heavy metal rockers and all the drugs, but because people thought she was like this degenerate, promiscuous individual, she apparently was not for the first part of her life and even the beginning of her career in Hollywood. Misconceptions. Yeah, I mean, after becoming involved in Tommy Lee, I mean, all bets are off at that point, the drug use or whatever. But before that, supposedly she was quite wholesome. Lord Zed says Eric Matthews rules. Lord Zed says, someone I briefly knew swore they fought Ben Savage. Oh, man. All right, who else we got on this list? Dan Schneider. Wow, no surprise. David Kosh. I don't know who that is. David Soad. David Yaroveski. I don't even want to look these people up. Dolores Zorregueta. Donovan Mitchell. Doug Ben. Drew Barrymore. That's actually not that surprising because, again, child stars in Hollywood, like dark stuff. Ed Buck. Ed Turtle. Ehud Barak, Ellen DeGeneres. Oh man, no surprise there. Ellen Spencer, Emmy Taylor, Fleur Perry Lang, Francis Suarez, Freya Wissing, Gary Rochburch. George Clooney. That shocked some people. He's actually relatively quiet for a Hollywood guy, isn't he, though? I mean, you don't hear too much stuff about him outside of the movie stuff. Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously. Glenn Dubin, Greg Holbert, Gwen Stefani. That's sad. That's sad if true. Gwendolyn Beck, Hank Collar, Heather Mann, Heidi Klum. Also not surprising. People in the modeling world. A lot of stories there. Henry Rozovsky, Hillary Clinton. No surprise there. James Franco, no surprise there. James Gunn, no surprise there. Jean-Luc Brunel, no surprise there. Jean-Michel Gathi, Jeffrey Jones, Jim Carrey. That's a little bit surprising. I mean, I don't know, maybe not. I mean, he was kind of, he didn't really, he's been kind of quiet other than, a few little outbursts here and that showing up in that fashion show, which we went over on a stream as well. Lord Zed says, so random it has to be true. I mean, that's a good point. Like, if you're gonna fake a list, unless you're a super genius, like, just the variety here. I mean, see, if Steven Seagal was on this list, like, I would seriously doubt it. But, I don't know. I mean, you got Al Gore on here. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Al Gore and Jim Carrey. Jimmy Kimmel, no surprise there. That guy gives off the scummiest vibes ever. What a scumbag. Sick Ghost says, remember her movie Barbed Wire? Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Pamela Anderson's, that movie was pretty cool. Man, bring back the 90s. Sick Ghost says, oh man, the principal from Ferris Bueller and the dad from Beetlejuice. So a lot of people say in regards to Hollywood people, it's all of them. I don't think so. Let's not profile black and white fallacies. Maybe it's most of them. I don't think it's all of them, though. So Joe Biden, no surprise there. Joe Pagano, John Cusack. See, that's sad, but maybe not surprising, because he seemed like he went completely insane the past 10 years. But man, his 80s movies were great. Oh man. Again, a case of before and after the threshold, possibly. John Legend, yeah, that guy got weird. John Podesta, no surprise there. John Travolta, not really surprised. Joy Behar, that's really random. Not surprising, though. Juan Pablo Molyneux, Juliet Bryant, Justin Rowland, Justin Trudeau, Kathy Griffin, Katy Perry, Kelly Spam, Kevin Spacey, not surprising at all. So many allegations around that guy. And doesn't Kevin Spacey just seem shady even before, like, this list? Even before any of the allegations at all came out. I mean, there's just something off about that guy, isn't there? Kristen Gillibrand, Christy Rogers, Lady Gaga, Larry Summers, Larry Visosky, Laura Z. Wasserman, Lawrence M. Krauss, Linda Pinto, Lisa Summers, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, Madonna, no surprise there, Mandy Ellison, Mark Collins Rector, Marina Abramovic, no surprise there, Mark Epstein, Mark Lloyd, Eminem, no surprise there. And again, look at Eminem's transformation. Like, he seemed kind of like a legit against the system type of guy early on. And then he just, I don't know what year it was, but was it 10 years ago? It's like a switch flip. Now he's competing for TDS championships. I mean, it's crazy. Or he was a clone that was replaced. A lot of theories out there. Melinda Luntz, Meryl Streep, interesting. Michelle Obama, Michelle Wolf, Mikel Arteta, Miley Cyrus. Ouch. But not surprising, given all the weird stuff that happened with her. Was there an MK Ultra fractured personality there? Heracles says, they said Spacey was kicked off the island for being too sadistic. Something, doesn't he look like a serial killer? There's just something off about the calmness of that guy. Just something really off. South to West says it also reads like a who's who of people with Trump derangement syndrome. It does, doesn't it? That's interesting. Okay, so where did you hear that, Heracles, that Spacey was kicked off the island for being too sadistic? Supposedly nothing is too sadistic. Didn't they actually do the rumors were they actually did legitimate sacrifices, human sacrifices there, but oh, you guys want to hear something about Harvey? Oh man, let me play this clip. Hold on. Let me play this. Actually, how is Harvey Weinstein not on this list? Isn't that weird? One would think. Where the heck is... Jennifer Lawrence, a supposedly classic award for Silver Linings 2013. She kind of came onto the scene with Winter's Bone a couple of years before that. So relatively wholesome, classy actress, right? 2013, she's already an Academy Award winner. So let's see what she says about Harvey Weinstein as well as other people. If YouTube allows this to play. Break down completely to NASA.
Before we begin, I just want to congratulate Harvey and his wife Georgina on the birth of their new baby boy. Harvey gave us just what we needed, another him.
Finally, I'd like to thank Harvey Weinstein, the Punisher, that's his nickname.
His nickname is the Punisher. Does anybody know why his nickname is the Punisher? We're going to watch this clip twice because there's some very, very disgusting things here.
that I'm picking up on.
The Punisher, yes.
Harvey, if I keep thanking you in public, people think we're having an affair. But nonetheless, if you're choosing sides in the playground before a scrap, I would like to have Harvey Weinstein and Graham King on my side.
Why would he want... So, what does Harvey Weinstein do behind closed doors that people want him on their side during a fight?
Harvey Weinstein, Bob Weinstein, God bless them.
My friends at Miramax for making this film, especially Harvey. And,
Harvey, thank you for killing whoever you had to kill to get me up here today.
That's interesting. Jennifer Lawrence's relationship with Harvey Weinstein is very, very bizarre. She's claimed that he was like a father figure, he treated her respectfully, but her demeanor around him is very, very disturbing. So she just said here, thank you for killing whoever you had to kill to get me up here. Why would people think that's funny? That's kind of a weird joke, isn't it? If it's a joke.
and to Harvey Weinstein, the tough guy on the playground with the biggest heart. Thank you for saying you do anything for your friends, and you always do. Thank you.
And then Harvey Weinstein.
And Harvey Weinstein. Harvey and Bob Weinstein.
Thank you, Harvey Weinstein.
I want to thank Harvey and Bob Weinstein, my agent, Kevin Uvain, and God, Harvey Weinstein.
So his other nickname was God. Now, does that spell Illuminati humiliation ritual or what? So he's known as the Punisher and God. And note the entire room is laughing hysterically at this. Like, what? Laughing hysterically at calling Harvey Weinstein God and the Punisher.
The Punisher. Old Testament, I guess.
That was disturbing. Old Testament, I guess, giggle, giggle.
Especially the bomber Weinstein, my godfather.
It's better than Sometimes I call him Jennifer. It's a pet name.
Jennifer Lawrence calls Harvey Weinstein Jennifer as a pet name while massaging his arm. While caressing his arm here. Does anybody find the body language here between... So, Jennifer Lawrence here's what, 22 maybe? 22, somewhere around there? Why is she caressing his arm and making jokes about calling him her own first name? Is anybody else deeply disturbed by the way Jennifer Lawrence looks here? There's something weird going on. Now, again, this is just speculation. I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. But it seems like there's a lot about their relationship that we don't know. Like, look at the way she's giggling here. Look at the way he's laughing. It's very weird, and she's never said that anything between them happened untowardly. Although she did condemn, what he did with other people. But the fact that it's just so weird. It's weird.
I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, who believed in us and made this movie.
Harvey, thank you to Harvey.
Harvey Weinstein for his commitment.
And to Harvey Weinstein and everyone at Miramax.
He's Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein and Lawrence Bender and...
Harvey and Bob Weinstein. You also break my heart with your uncensored passion.
But I have to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Did she say uncensored passion? Or uncentered passion? Either way, that's weird.
And... thank you, sir.
And of course, Harvey, who first took me on 20 years ago, when I was a mere child sensation.
He took him on when he was a mere child sensation? That sounds weird. What's funny about that? What is so hysterical about saying that Harvey Weinstein took him on when he was a child sensation? Like, is that a joke? Why would that necessitate hysterical laughing from Weinstein? Like, what? And why are all these other people laughing at that? It's like this is all one big sick inside joke.
I want to thank the Mashpuka Weinstein. Mazel tov.
Their behavior is so weird. Specifically Jennifer Lawrence and Weinstein. It's so weird.
There's a guy I'd like to really thank here that people don't thank enough, but there's a kindly, wonderful, gentle man that we all deeply love.
What? That we all deeply love? I don't know, this is weird.
His name is Harvey Weinstein. A little rough around the edges, but a heart of gold. And we do love you. And this is a good man. People don't know that, but he's done a lot of good things in life. They'll write an article about that someday, too.
They'll write an article about that someday. It's like it's all one big inside joke, isn't it? It's like it's all one big inside joke, isn't it?
New Yorker.
What? What? Is he reenacting some kind of behind the scenes stuff? Does anybody else find this video weird? Yeah, this is so disturbing on so many levels.
Some say she's better than Meryl Streep. Who says that?
I don't know. Nobody. A lot of people.
Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
That's an interesting joke, isn't it? Wow. That is quite an interesting joke, isn't it?
You wanted a job for Vince and now you're me! Do you know who I am? You're gonna beg to get back into the pizza business! He's trying to do it. You! You were that kid!
You don't want to mess with Weird Al.
Oh, please. I'm not afraid of anyone in show business. I turned down intercourse with Harvey Weinstein on no less than 3 occasions out of 5. Look, I get it. I know how former lovers can have a hold over you long after they're gone. In some ways, I'm still pinned under a passed-out Harvey Weinstein, and it's Thanksgiving.
What? What? So they're making open jokes, not just at award ceremonies, but within. And look at the poster in the background too. Is that another one of Harvey Weinstein's nicknames? I mean, this is very, very weird. One of the most disturbing things, again, like I said, was Jennifer Lawrence's body language with him. It's very, very disturbing because she's.
I just congratulate Harvey and his wife Georgina on
I mean, I don't know how old she is here. 22, maybe?
the birth of their new baby boy.
23? Like, just the way that she's caressing him with that expression on her face is very, very weird.
Harvey gave us.
I mean, it's just very disturbing.
Did another hint.
Finally, I'd like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Background.
My agent, Kevin Uvain, and God, Harvey Weinstein.
I mean, look at everybody in the background laughing at that.
I didn't think it was possible, but watching this old clip from the Illuminati Humiliation Ritual podcast, this is like a Twilight Zone episode where the whole town is in on it, right? Like, look at the background. Who thinks everybody knows? Maybe not like the B-listers, but who thinks just about all of the A-listers know exactly what goes on. Phil in the Bronx says, we need a real Charles Bronson. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know what would really crush a lot of hearts? If Bronson... I can't imagine Bronson being involved in any of this. Sicko says, yeah, we so need a real Bronson. Man, that would be phenomenal. If Bronson could have... Oh, man. Can you imagine trying to get Bronson to be involved in any of this stuff? Bronson was so old school. I mean, I would really be crushed if anything ever came out about Bronson. Like, that guy was so old school, tough, and honorable. It would be really terrible if he was involved in anything. But I haven't heard anything in the direction of Charles Bronson. Can you imagine? Like, same thing with Seagal. Can you imagine somebody trying to get Seagal to do something that he didn't want to do, something shady? I mean, there'd be a lot of broken wrists and necks. Sick Ghost said a real-life death wish would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't wish death on anybody, but definitely a beat down of sorts. I mean, Seagal, I would be happy enough to just have Seagal go to town on these people. Can you imagine just airdropping Seagal into this room to handle business? To handle business? I mean... It's just, I don't know how he feels about hurting women, but women who harm children, like, I don't know that they, they deserve proper beatings as well. It's just that Seagal needed to be airdropped into this room and just let loose on these vile creatures. The way that everybody's laughing in all these clips, is it possible they don't know? Like, it's so creepy. It's like they're all of these sick inside jokes. Sick Ghost said, did Schwarzenegger kiss the ring? He might have. You can't trust a guy that says screw your freedom. There are some horrible stories about Schwarzenegger and the way he treated women, like, way back in the day. Like, just degrading. I mean, supposedly they were adults. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but still. I mean, just really shady stuff. The court of public opinion says, if you didn't know, you wouldn't laugh. Yeah, I mean, it's why would you laugh? Like, talking about knowing somebody when they were a child sensation. I mean, why would that necessitate hysterical laughter? Like, that's so weird. Unless child sensation means something different to these people. I mean, this is crazy. But yeah, let's continue through the list here. So yeah, is it strange that Weinstein is not on this list? I don't know. So Nadine Dorries, Naomi Campbell, a lot of stories about her. Naomi Watts, that's really disappointing as well. That is disappointing, if true. Again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. This was simply a list released. Some of the names were in the court documents, but not all of them here. There was also an earlier list that was scrubbed from the internet that did have Ashton Kutcher on it. I'm not sure, like, I haven't seen it. I just heard people talking about the first list that released. It had a lot of the same names, but it had other names as well. Man, Naomi Watts, that's disappointing. That's disappointing, isn't it? I mean, I guess she was close with David Lynch, and there's a lot of weird stories about that guy, too, so... Natalie Blachon de Perrier, Nicole Junkerman, Olga Kurlenko. That's a little bit surprising, too. Huh. That's kind of surprising, isn't it? Like, she's kind of under the radar. I don't even know if she's done any super huge things. I mean, she's done some action movies. She did, Quantum of Solace, I guess that was one of her biggest ones. Oh yeah, and she was in the Max Payne movie, which was pretty good. She was in Hitman. I mean, she's kind of... I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if she's... Is she considered A-list? I mean, she was in Black Widow, I guess. I guess that brought her into the A-list there. I mean, she's kind of a random name to be on there, isn't she? So she married... here's why, probably. She married French fashion photographer Cedric Van Mol. Interesting. So yeah, if it's a French fashion photographer... Yeah, that's probably the connection there. Just kind of random, though. Phil says, how reliable is this list? Again, I'm not claiming it's true or untrue, but it was released early on, claimed to be completely fake and made up, but then a lot of these names actually appear in court documents regarding the Epstein list. So some of the big Hollywood A-listers, they were, if they're on the real list, like a lot of it was redacted, so I don't know. But there's quite a few names that are on the court documents. I don't really want to pull up all the court documents because there's hundreds of pages. I don't think they're all on one name, but on one page. But some before the court documents were released, this list was released, and then in the court documents, a lot of the names matched up, so that I don't think this list can be completely dismissed, but I'm not claiming it's 100% true either. Yeah, David Lynch just died. Yeah, I saw that the other day. S. Harrison says Charles Barkley would be the most disappointing tribute. Yeah, but Barkley's been dialed into the establishment for a long time, hasn't he? Like, I don't think he really was during his career, but since he retired, maybe not immediately upon retiring, but in the years after his retirement, he's been dialed in upper echelon. So that's actually not surprising at all for me. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if Michael Jordan was on this list. But, yeah, he's not. Okay, so, I mean, it would have been sad, but there's a lot of stories about Jordan, not in terms of, just in terms of mafia connections, and some people believe his father was some kind of Illuminati sacrifice, but Oliver Sacks, Oprah, nobody's surprised by Oprah. Orlando Bloom, some people might be surprised by that. Paris Hilton, that's a tough one. That is a tough one, because she's spoken out about all this stuff since... I actually covered her in the Illuminati Humiliation Ritual podcast. Yeah, I'll premiere that again tomorrow so everybody can catch up on that. Patton Oswalt, not surprising at all, is it? Because, I mean, he went full TDS, and he made some really strange comments the past 10 years or so. Paul Mellon, Paula Epstein, Paula Halla, Peter P. Marino, Pharrell Williams, Prince Andrew, Prince Charles, no surprise there. Quentin Tarantino, no surprise there. Rachel Maddow, not really surprising. Rainn Wilson, Rallo Ellison, Ray Barzana, Ricardo Leoretta Vilches, Rihanna. See, nobody talks about Rihanna's wealth, because everybody talks about Taylor Swift, who, So the thing about this list, so Taylor Swift's not on this list. Seth Green is on this list, who the whistle had been blown on him quite a while ago. But let's go in order here. So with Rihanna, there's a lot of strange issues with Rihanna. Not going to go into it too deep, but Rihanna was actually the richest female musician. Now, supposedly Taylor Swift just surpassed her recently. But Rihanna was the absolute richest, and she wasn't even in the news for years. She was kind of under the radar being the richest for many, many years. So that's kind of curious, isn't it? That's kind of curious. I didn't know we'd be just doing the Epstein list on this Q&A. This is crazy. Dawson's Creek and the Epstein list. That's what we're discussing tonight. Wow, this is wild. Court of Public Opinion says you can find the whole Little Black Book in a Vanity Fair article. Yeah, I don't think they had the whole thing, though. You know what else is interesting? Tom Cruise is not on this list. You know what's kind of weird? So Phil says, your thoughts, film heroes take away our desire to take action to make things right. It removes these desires from our subconscious and we do nothing as heroes on the screen do it for us. I think that might be more true of superheroes. So for example, like Van Damme, Stallone, like these guys, I think it's the opposite effect. It motivates scrawny kids, like I was myself a long time ago, to actually work out. And actually, I think it actually did have an effect in my moral compass as well, you know, sticking up for the little guy, you know, stopping any evil from taking place. I think it has the opposite effect. Now, the superhero genre, you might be right there, because if the superheroes, they have all these crazy superpowers that humans supposedly can't have, so it's almost like, why try if there's a Superman? But for, like, grounded non-superhero action films, I think it can actually motivate. I think it'd have the opposite effect. I think it definitely could be motivating. I mean, I know I wouldn't have studied martial arts and got healthy and worked out a lot if not for, you know, the old Bruce Lee movies and some of these martial arts movies and the Rocky movies, and I know I'm not alone in that. As Harrison says, I see Big Mike is on the list. Definitely no surprise there. Okay. So, well, not just that, Phil, but yeah, specifically the old action movies that were about doing the right thing above all, you know, regardless of the cost, instead of selling out and taking the easy way out. I think that had a positive effect, but I can't remember the last time I saw a movie like that. I mean, those were the action movies of the 80s and 90s. I don't know about too much now. Alright, Rita Wilson, Rob Reiner, another contender for TDS championships. Yeah, this list really does read like a list of TDS contenders. Robert De Niro, there's another one. Robert Downey Jr., a lot of people disappointed in that one. Rodney Slater, Ronade Berkey, Rudy Gobert, Sander Berger. Kind of weird if Adam Sandler was on this list. Sarah Kellen, Sarah Silverman. Interesting. Not that surprising, but interesting. Yeah, of course, Seth Green, Jay-Z, Shelley Harrison, Shelley Lewis. You know what else is kind of weird? How is P. Diddy not on this list, or Sean Combs? Now, I don't know if this is the client list or the flight. I don't know if they meant flight log, because obviously P. Diddy has his own jet, so he wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know if this was supposedly from flight logs. And so there'd be way more visitors to the island if they got their own boat or plane. I don't know if this was derived from the alleged flight log only of the Lolita Express. Sick Ghost says, how is Rob Lowe not on that list? How dare you? How dare you? Little Star says, we live in interesting times. I believe this awakening has happened many times throughout history. They have always been here. Scumbag Satanists. Shelly Harrison, Sherry Lewis, Sophie Biddy Hakeem, question mark? Sophie Trudeau, Stephen Collins, Stephen Colbert, no surprise there. Steven Spielberg, no surprise there. You know what's kind of crazy, though? In Virginia Giuffre's writings, she actually names a lot of these people, too. So she corroborates this partial, like, certain names on the list, too. So, yeah, I don't know if we can take this list as 100% legit, but we simply can't dismiss it just because a lot of these names do show up in the court documents, and they do show up in testimonies of alleged victims. Steven Tyler, Svetlana Giazunova, Tiela Davies, Tiffany Gramza, Tom Hanks, nobody's surprised there, Tom Pritzker, Tyler Gresham, Victor Salva. Wow, a lot of stories about that guy in Hollywood. I think he was actually convicted and then still continued to work as a director, right? That's the guy that did Powder. He directed that movie, Powder. Haven't heard anybody talk about that in a while. Wanda Sykes and Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi. Yeah, Whoopi's so far gone mentally. Oh, man. Yeah, so I don't know if this is just derived from the flight log only. Anybody have any questions about the list or any other questions? We gotta wrap this up. So yeah, let's go out on a little bit of a lighter note. So once we're done with this, if anybody has any lighter questions, that would be much appreciated. Dark stuff here. There's actually an article here. Supposedly it is actually reported that Ghislaine Maxwell was specifically recruiting Paris Hilton for Jeffrey Epstein in approximately 2000. And there are actually receipts. Alright, this is the last thing we're going to talk about, because a lot of people are saying that this list is baseless, but there are so many receipts in association with the names on this list. So they definitely knew each other. So check this out. I mean, how many photos just Ghislaine appear in with various people? I mean, it's really crazy. So crazy. I mean, just look at all these receipts. So the story is that Maxwell thought that Paris would be perfect for Jeffrey. You know what else is kind of strange? So Paris Hilton was actually signed with Donald Trump's modeling agency, Team Management. She was 19 years old here. So who thinks it's actually kind of crazy? I've actually never seen this image here before. This is actually a crazy image. Not this one. I have another one here from this same article. What is going on here in this image? This image is gonna cause a field day here. This image was zoomed in. Here's the zoomed out image. The uncropped image here from 2000. So Paris Hilton, the heiress, the daughter of the Hilton Hotel brand, is signed with Trump's modeling agency. Does anybody find that weird? Now, okay, we might as well get real crazy here because, oh man, this is Mindshock. I really didn't want to go down all these rabbit holes, but for the uninitiated. For the uninitiated. What the? Okay, hold on a second. YouTube's getting glitchy. That's how you know we're on to something. Whenever the glitches start happening... Man, it really doesn't want me to put the image on the screen here, but I do want to get it on the screen, so just give me a second. Audio should still be good. I'm just looking for this one image. Okay, here we go. Found it. Alright, here we go. It's gonna break the internet right here. I don't know how we're not gonna get shut down if I put this image on the screen, but this is Mindshock, so let's see what happens if I do. So we have here, this is gonna get crazy. So we have here Maurice Blinken, the early backer of Israel. So he's the grandfather of Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State. Who's so he's the stepson of Samuel Pizer. The lawyer, Robert Maxwell's lawyer, Robert Maxwell, alleged to be a Mossad agent who's the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, working with Jeffrey Epstein, who some allege is a Mossad agent. I mean, is this not one of the craziest brackets you've ever seen? So keep in mind, so Ghislaine here, trying to recruit Paris Hilton for Epstein. Ghislaine, the daughter of Robert Maxwell, who, again, I mean, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we're not getting into. I just wanted to put the bracket on the screen for people to understand the images here. Now, Paris Hilton, the daughter of the Hilton Empire, is signed with Donald Trump, who has his own Hilton Hotel Empire, with Donald Trump's modeling agency. Sick says, get out of town. No way APAC is involved at all. I mean, I'm sure this is all coincidental. I am absolutely sure this is all coincidental. I am not claiming that this is anything other than mere coincidence. Just for clarification here. This is obviously all mere coincidence. The court of public opinion says Paris destroyed Dr. Phil. How can you not love her? She did. She was on... Dr. Phil gets destroyed by everybody. DMX destroyed Dr. Phil. That was like the most hilarious thing ever. I gotta get the DMX podcast back up too. I'll see if I could also do that tomorrow. Okay, so... Yeah, this is really crazy stuff. So, is it weird that Ghislaine Maxwell's trying to recruit a billionairess? I mean, is that kind of weird? Like, what does everybody think of jizz, or did she not know who Paris Hilton is, or was she specifically trying to recruit her because of who she is? What are everybody's thoughts here? I mean, this is just so crazy. So apparently there's no other story beyond these photographs other than Maxwell was trying to recruit her. And this is also featured in the documentary series Surviving Jeffrey Epstein, which aired August 2020. So, who knows what happened? Did they actually fly her out to the island? I mean, we don't know. She's on this list, and there's this receipt about at least the attempted recruitment. So, Maxwell's friend said that Ghislaine said she'd be perfect for Jeffrey and wanted an introduction, which is these photos. So, yeah, and we don't know what happened after this. I also apparently, I did not know that Paris Hilton was signed with Donald Trump's modeling agency. And how much did Trump know about what was going on within the modeling agency? I don't know. I mean, the modeling and fashion world is notorious for drug use and just shady dealings and trafficking and all that stuff. Okay, so we didn't get shut down. Yeah, this is crazy. Alright, any other questions? Any other questions? We need to finish this on a light note, so. S. Harrison said, Jeffrey probably saw those Carl Jr.'s ads of her in a bikini washing the car and decided he'd make an age exception for a 19-year-old. That's dark. That's dark. Which pic? This photo here with Ghislaine, Paris, and Donald Trump. This was published in newspapers at the time. So this photo is as real as it gets, again, unless it was fake when it was published. I mean, this was, you know, this was these are old photos published way back when. So, okay, can we finish this on a lighter note? Does anybody have a question that's a little bit lighter in nature? Les Xylophone says, answer mine about cash. You're talking about the Columbine basement tapes? That's not a light question. But I don't know. I don't see them being officially released ever. But supposedly they were leaked on the dark web. So, yeah, supposedly they were leaked on the dark web. I don't do the dark web, so I haven't been able to verify that. They were also supposedly shopped around. VHSs were put on eBay. Some people bought them. It is unknown whether they were the actual basement tape. No evidence has been presented that they were the actual ones, though. So, yeah. I don't know, like, most of the records are sealed for something like another 100 years or something insane, so I wouldn't hold my breath. A lot of shady stuff with that. Okay, so Charles Bronson. Sick Ghost said, Conrad Hilton was an old-school German conservative from what I've read. He actually seems kind of based. Yeah, I'm going to have to dig more into the Hiltons. I actually don't know much about the Hilton Empire. Oh, here's what we need to finish on. I forgot one of the most 80s movies ever when we were going over the most 80s movie. I forgot one. Okay, I'm going to play that trailer here to close this out. I'm not going to say what it is. It's also a weird trailer because it's like not an official trailer. It's like an assembly of clips, but it's called the official trailer. It's the only one I've ever seen for this movie. So, brace yourselves, people. This is really cool stuff. It's one of my favorite Cusack movies that nobody knows about from the late 80s.
Hi, I'm Ivan Alexey with Video Aces. We make rock videos. You can have find time to look at this or call me. Your name was Skip. Ivan, give us a call. Weird Al! I knew it, Mr. Yankovic. My name is Ivan Alexey. I work for Video Aces. We make rock videos. I love your work. Good to see you. Let me give you my card.
Remind me to get some help.
3:30 with Ken Craig has been canceled.
It was a very fine meeting. It was good to meet you. My briefcase. Video Aces make rock.
My brother.
Stood.
Cube Square Baby Doll.
This is as loud as it goes, but brownie points for anybody who can guess this movie. Welcome, Dave Scott. We're just wrapping up here. I forgot one contender for the most 80s movies ever. This is one of my favorite John Cusack movies that nobody's ever heard of. If anybody can guess the name, you got brownie points. Obviously, this is all fair use, all the time, fair use.
My baby doll. My baby doll. Doll, baby doll. My baby doll. Baby, baby, baby doll. My baby doll. My baby doll. So near a man.
You! On top of that car. Back him up. Hey, it's the Hitman.
That's them.
No, they're completely harmless. We just did their last video. Fire. No refund! God! Josh, give him the money back. Go down there. You should. You should. No. You should. Listen, man. No!
If to help you guys out, we'll take it to him. Get here, Billy. We can do that much for you.
We love the smoky modes.
No problem, Mom. Come on, let's go.
Any ordinary man wouldn't think right. Taking the chances to roll the dice. Any ordinary man would have given it up by now. I want to say it one more.
Man, this makes me really want to watch the whole movie again. This is not Say Anything. Oh man, Lord Zed says, Bruce, is that what your hair looked like, that guy singing? LOL. What do you mean looked like past tense? Do you think I'm rocking anything other than heavy metal 80s hair? '80s hair for life. No, this is not Better Off Dead. This is not All the President's Men. This is not Less Than Zero. I'll finish it up here, but man, this soundtrack is banging. Fair use, baby. Fair use all the time. How awesome is this movie? Haley says, OMG, 80s hair was the best. John Bon Jovi. Yeah. You guys think I'm joking about still rocking 80s metal hair? I'm not saying I was or wasn't a professor at a prestigious university in the realm of logic, but if I were, I definitely was still rocking the 80s metal hair. Ordinary Man is not the name of the movie. Hot Pursuit, nope. Dave Scott says, business in the front, party in the rear, Bruce all day. Nah, party in the front, party on the top, and party in the back, baby. Oh, did everybody hear that gunshot? Hold on a second. Was that somebody doing some hunting, or was that Charles Bronson coming back, taking out the trash? You know what would be great? Yeah, they didn't even put the name of the movie. Oh, Truth Trollette, got it. Tapeheads. Did you look it up? Truth Trollette, be honest. Did you look it up? It is Tapeheads, one of my favorite John Cusack movies. I'm going to play the whole last scene in fair use. Cusack and Cusack is just so great in this movie. I mean, it's just so phenomenal. One of the most underrated movies and totally a dark horse for the most 80s movie ever.
I love these guys.
Come on, let's go. Oh, boys. Yeah. Open up. Let me through. Right up this way. Okay, everybody, move out of the way. Move out of the way. Give us some space. Come on, move out of the way. You're on.
Atención, damas y caballeros. Atención.
Look at Cusack here. I mean, this is just sheer brilliance in his dancing. Look at this. Look at this sheer brilliance from Cusack with that stash. Look at that. Look at those dance moves. Those are unreplicatable. Oh man, this movie's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Does it get more 80s than this?
You really gotta hand it to those two.
These guys were absolutely hilarious. But yeah, Tapeheads, absolutely phenomenal film. One of the best 80s movies. Haley asks, Bruce, have you seen Arizona Dream? I don't think I have seen that. Phil says it's the remake of the Blues Brothers. No. This is way better than the Blues Brothers. I know that's blasphemous to some, but I mean, this Tapeheads is way better than Blues Brothers, in my not so humble opinion. Sick Ghost says, want a truly dynamic duo, you pair Charles Bronson with Sam Elliott. Now, it's a shame Bronson and Seagal never made a movie together. Yeah, we need a Charles Bronson podcast. We need a Charles Bronson deep dive. I mean, he might be the most underrated Hollywood actor ever. I mean, he's basically the original Tom Cruise, but more legit. He's like the legit version of Tom Cruise, doing stunts in his 50s. I mean, this guy's incredible. And supposedly, like, one of the most legit tough guy actors ever. I mean, can you imagine trying to mess with Charles Bronson? I mean, regardless of his age. I mean, this guy made 162 movies. Or movies and TV show appearances. 162 appearances. His first movie was, or his first show, TV show, was Fireside Theater in 1949. His last appearance in Family of Cops 3, Under Suspicion, 1999. I actually never saw the Family of Cops TV movies. I probably should check them out. From 95 to 99. But Death Wish Face of Death was 94. That was the last Death Wish. Death Wish 5, Face of Death. Yeah, it's a shame he didn't team up with Seagal for that one. That could have been sheer brilliance. Can you imagine Bronson and Seagal? That would have been amazing. IB McFly says, "Hey Bruce, I watched your most 80s movie. You referenced a similar type of video about the 90s. Have you uploaded that?" I did 2 other podcasts about the 80s and 90s. I have to double check. I might have re-uploaded one of them. I don't think I re-uploaded 2, but yeah. Lord Zed says Arizona Dream with Depp is awesome. Johnny's best work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't think I have. I mean, I've watched a lot of movies, so maybe I have. But if I have, I don't remember it. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up. Another great Q&A from Epstein List to Dawson's Creek to Baywatch. We discuss it all here. Thanks again for joining us. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.